Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, members of the press. We are here as a delegation of young leaders from this country, and we want to make a statement following the unfortunate demise of one of the young people in this country, Albert Ojang. And we want to say that following the brutal murder of Albert Ojang while in police custody, Kenyans have been subjected to a shameful circus of conflict of statements and blatant lies from the National Police Service, Director of Criminal Investigations, and Bagadi Hospital. The disparate attempts to cover up this heinous act have only deepened public outrage and exposed the rot within our law enforcement institutions. It's an unfortunate reality that today in Kenya, citizens, more so the young people, fear the police custody more than they fear robbers and thieves on the streets. Police cells, which are meant to offer temporary refuge for justice, have been converted into theaters of killing and death throats. Let it be not forgotten that the youth who were killed during the finance bill protest last year have not been compensated, and their murderers have not been charged, and their families left in endless grief. As if that's not enough, young man Albert Ojang was brutally murdered in police custody, and the police and relevant authorities have not been able to establish and speak the truth to Kenyans on what exactly happened. We are therefore calling for and say that the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Mr. Eliud Lagat, who has been mentioned adversely on this issue, resigns immediately and be taken into custody for further interrogation for the truth of this matter to be communicated. We also call upon the police officers, those both from the National Police Service and the DCI, those who handled Ojang all the way from where he was kidnapped up to Nairobi until the time he died. That team must be arrested and interrogated for the truth to be revealed.
Yes.
In pursuit of justice to all this, we want to remind and call upon young Kenyans to come up tomorrow, Tuesday, for a matter of demonstrations in call and pursuit for justice for Albert Ojang and 60 comrades who were killed during the finance bill. Comrades power. We want to also call upon all young people, mothers and parents of our nation to come out and defend this country. Anytime you are called upon, we are going to have demonstrations as from tomorrow, Tuesday, and every Thursday until one Mr. Eliud Lagat is arrested.
Yes.
We want to have demonstrations in all corners of the country, peaceful processions, submitting petitions until Eliud Lagat is arrested.
Yes.
Furthermore, let it be known that 25th June will be forever gazetted either by the government or by the people at the Gen Z Remembrance Day.
Yes.
In honor of the brave youth who paid the ultimate price while demanding a better nation.
Yes.
We therefore advise the Interior CS, one Kipchumba Murkomen, to work with speed and gazette immediately that day as a public holiday.
Yes.
Failure to which the people of Kenya will do it as they should.
Yes.
The era of state sanctions, killings, cover-ups, and impunity is over. The blood of the innocent cries out for justice, and this generation will not be silenced. Comrades, I want to tell you that we are watching, we are organizing, and we are marching, and we shall not be threatened or silenced. And I want to make it clear that this issue of Albert Ojang has touched on the National Police Service, specifically the Deputy Inspector General, Mr. Eliud Lagat. It is out of respect and honor of the Constitution that you resign.
Yes.
For this issue, for the family of Ojang to get justice, Eliud Lagat must resign.
Yes.
For the Kenyans to have peace with the investigations and have trust in police service, Eliud Lagat must resign.
Yes.
For IPOA to have confidence to conduct investigations to the end, Eliud Lagat must
Resign.
For the people of Kenya to feel that for the first time justice will be served, Eliud Lagat must
Resign.
For the people and the family of Ojang to feel that their son was not just murdered but eliminated unconstitutionally, and therefore justice must be served, Eliud Lagat must
Resign.
And therefore, we all agree that one, Eliud Lagat must do what?
Resign.
He must do what?
Resign.
And once he resigns, Eliud Lagat must be arrested and charged in the court of law.
Yes.
We are a country that operates within the confines of the Constitution, and we are not going to sit back and watch things going messy. I think that is the main message we wanted to communicate. And I believe my colleagues here also have something to add on it. And I will invite the Secretary General of Wiper Young Democrats to just echo.
Thank you very much, members of the press. Mimi nitazungumza kwa lugha ya Kiswahili. Unajua vipindi vingi ambavyo vinaendelea ni vya kunyanyasa vijana. Mwanzo kabisa kifo cha Lagat kutolewa alikotolewa akaletwa huku, alafu tunaambiwa ripoti zinatoka tofauti tofauti. Polisi wenyewe wakiongozwa na IG wanapeana ripoti tofauti, IPO inakuja inatoa ripoti tofauti, na mzazi ambaye alimzaa huyu kijana anaumia. So sisi cha kwanza, kwa sababu mwanzo walisema kijana alijimaliza uhai wake alipokuwa kwenye seli. Pili wakakuja akatuambia eti kijana aliletwa pale alafu akapigwa na wenzake. Alafu tumeonyeshwa na kamera za CCTV kuwa alipelekwa Mbagathi kwenda kutafuta matibabu, lakini Mbagathi ikasema kuwa alifika kule kama ashapoteza maisha yake. Sasa ripoti kama hizi ambazo zinakuja kukoroga wa Kenya ni za kuchanganya, and as we speak now as young people tunasema ya kwamba we are suspecting everyone and we are asking for justice only because we are trusting nobody. So sisi tunachoangalia ama tunachouliza ya kwamba ni justice isaviwe, ya kwamba ule mzee ambaye anasema huyo ndo kijana wake wa pekee apate justice, na hata soli ya Albert Ojang iweze kupata justice, kwa sababu tukiendelea namna hii inaonyesha kwamba we are going to be silenced. Itakuwa mtu akitokea anajaribu kukosoa serikali, anajaribu kupeana maoni ambayo yanakinzana na hii serikali, unapotezwa ama unafinywa. And you know that thing, mimi kulingana na maoni yangu haikufanyika tu ya kwamba ilikuwa ifanyike. Hiki ni kitu ambacho kilikuwa kimepangwa kifanyike to send a warning to any person who is sending a message to this government kwamba hapa wanafanya vibaya. Ilikuwa ni message itumwe kwa hao wapate wasiwasi, wapate uoga, na ndio kufikia saizi unaona hakuna mtu anaongelea mambo ati sijui alikuwa corruption kwa NPS, sijui corruption wapi. Kila mtu amenyamaza kwa sababu uoga ushatumiwa. Na I want to send a message to any individual, any bloggers and any government operative ama media zetu ambazo tunaziamini hapa Kenya. Hakuna haja mtumike kudivert attention ya Wakenya kupeleka upande mwingine, and the only thing that you are asking for is you asking for justice. So we only want this justice to be served. Na kuendelea na kumalizia, mimi nataka kusema as far as it is, we are treating everyone as a suspect and we are trusting no one until justice is served and the soul of Albert Ojwang rests in peace. Thank you.
Good morning, members of the press, and I want to release a statement here in regards to the empowerment that is happening around the country. And across the country today, we are witnessing a troubling trend whereby members of parliament and other leaders led by the deputy president are traversing constituencies under the banner of empowerment programs, distributing foodstuffs and giving out tokens of cash, resources whose origins remain unknown and unaccounted for. These acts are being presented as development, but we must ask one question. Is this a genuine empowerment, or rather are these theatrics that political leaders are using for political mileage? We must start by asking ourselves, what is the meaning of public service? We want systems that work, not theatrics for gaining political mileage around the country. In functioning democracies, members of parliament are not glorified charity workers. Their mandates are very clear: legislation, oversight, and representation. When critical services like education, healthcare are underfunded, yet resources are being channeled up in the country, being motivated as giveaways, we must ask, who is funding these so-called empowerment initiatives? Where is the budget line? What are the mechanisms that are existing to ensure oversight and accountability? And not unless we answer these questions, what we are witnessing is populism masquerading as leadership. True empowerment does not come from sugar. True empowerment does not come from maize flour. True empowerment comes from investing in quality education for our people, True empowerment comes from accessible healthcare for our people and an economic system that gives every Kenyan, especially the youth, an opportunity to build him or herself. Real empowerment is not seasonal. It is something that is structural, not about personalities, not about the deputy president, not about a certain MP. It's about institutions. I want to ask one question. What image are we painting for a dialysis patient out there waiting for services in a county hospital where he or she is being told that supplies are low, where there is no mechanisms to ensure that patients are being treated? A student in a school where capitation has been delayed or neither is it being funded, where a school with over 3,000 students is receiving 4,000 shillings, you can imagine. Then that same student, that same dialysis patient, that same person is witnessing just across the road a leader to a tune of a deputy president handing out cash, giving out foodstuffs in the name of empowerment. As the youth in this country, we reject this. And for this reason, even as we call for the justice of Albert Ojang, we also demand for accountability. We want to know the source of these funds. We want to know the mechanisms that have been put in place for accountability. We cannot be crying about underfunded education system and underfunded healthcare system, but we are seeing millions and millions of cash being poured in our country day in, day out, under the banner of empowerment. That is not the role of a deputy president. That is not the role of a member of parliament. That is not the role of a leader in this country. And together, we call upon all the youth from all walks of life in this Kenya. We call upon all our mothers, all our fathers, and everyone in this country to join us this week. Tomorrow, we want to start our demonstrations as we call upon this government to provide justice for Albert Ojwang and also to demand for accountability. Comrades power.
Power.
Comrades power.
Power.
Thank you so much.
Maybe if there's questions.
Maybe I just have one question. We've seen IPOA conducting investigation, and most of the Kenyans are not satisfied. Maybe from your side, do you believe IPOA is going to deliver justice?
IPOA is somehow not going to deliver to the expectations of Kenyans because we already have issues around the police brutality that happened in 25th June. And BBC did a very, very good job and even indicated the faces of those police. But up to date, IPOA has not brought any police officer to be charged with those murders. The family of Rex Massa are still waiting. The families of Denzel Omuna are still waiting. So we are not sure. We are not at peace with IPOA as it is right now. And that's why we are calling upon young Kenyans. Do not tire. Do not relent. Come out tomorrow. We are going to have peaceful processions until top police officials who have been mentioned in this case adversely steps out and gives a conducive environment for proper investigation. Yeah. Awesome.
Maybe just to add on that, we have seen IPOA trying to do whatever it is doing, lakini kulingana na maoni yangu kama Mkenya wa kawaida ama mkulima ama on behalf of those watu wa chini, I think IPOA bado haijafikia ile kiwango ambacho inaweza aminika. It is still struggling to be trusted. So if IPOA is still struggling to be trusted, definitely we expect it not even to deliver what we are asking for. Another thing to add on it is that we need to ask ourselves, why is it that only cases that affect the common mwananchi take too long, but cases that concern these executive and those people in offices, they normally take it on this, like ikihappen even ni kama walikuwa washajipanga kikosi inaenda kushughulikia hiyo. That's why unaona up to today sijasikia wakisema wameenda kufika kwa pale Ojwang alitolewa, wajaletwa, wamezunguka tu IPOA na kuita watu wenye. You see, it is so funny that samaki ikianza kuoza inaanzia kwa kichwa. If that thing happened, watu ambao wanafaa kuwa kwanza kuulizwa, because mimi ndugu yangu nataka nikuulize, mimi ni saa hizi nikitoka na mashtaka kwangu nyumbani, niseme yule jamaa analala na bibi yangu, alafu kesho yule jamaa nilikuwa nimetaja apatikana amekufa, mtu wa kwanza kushukiwa itakuwa ni mimi, kwa sababu nilisema hivyo. So since it was the DIG who made allegation against that young person, ni yenda anafaa kuwa mtu wa kwanza angekuwa ameshikwa. And not is so funny because the same people who always wakisikia kitu imetokea watasema yule alikuwa amesema, wanaanza kuuliza huyu jamaa alikuwa na maadui. Adui wa kwanza ni yule mtu ambaye amepeleka kesi. So sisi kama wananchi, we are expecting that the DIG ndiye angekuwa mtu wa kwanza kuwekwa pingu, apelekwe korokoroni, afunguliwe mashtaka na apelekwe jela, ndio haki ianze kufanyika. Lakini whatever they are trying to do kuanzia pale chini, unaenda kuanzia mkia wa samaki ukipanda. Na mimi najua kwamba walipoanzia kwa ule jamaa sijui ule jamaa kutoka Western Muhwana, wamekuja sijui wakasema ati OCS ndio yeye ameruka na mambo yake. Mbona wanafuata wale watu wadogo? And we know that the allegation were raised by someone who is senior. Na watu kulingana na kikosi chetu cha Kenya, anything that happens unasikianga call from above, call from above. So that above person is the one that anafaa kuwa responsible. And mimi nasema kama swali ya kwamba ule mtu aliraise allegation ya kusema Ojang amefanya ABCD hadi akaweka statement, that is the person that should be asked. Yeah. We need to focus on that issue, si kuanza kudivert venye tuna divert. So that is my point. Thank you.